on, so the live stream should start any second now.
Hey everybody, welcome to day 7. I'm Kevin, I lead product at OpenAI. I can't believe that we're only halfway through the 12 days of OpenAI. I hope you're all having as much fun as we are. I thought I would start by giving a bit of an update on where some of our rollouts from this past week are. So first, Sora, we launched on Monday. Demand has been off the charts, frankly, and it took us a little bit longer than we even expected to get this out because of it. But I'm excited to say that Sora is now fully available to Plus and Pro users outside of our friends in Europe. Also, yesterday we launched live video and subscription and screen sharing in advanced voice mode, and that's now fully rolled out to Plus, Pro, and Teams users outside of Europe. And Santa mode, which we talked about yesterday too, is available globally. So with that, let's talk about today. Today, we're super excited because we're launching something that you've all been asking for a while, which is projects in ChatGPT. When you start a project, you can upload files, you can set custom instructions, and generally tailor ChatGPT to all of the conversations that are part of that project. And all the parts of ChatGPT conversations that you're used to, things like search and Canvas, work as part of projects. Or you can skip all that fancy stuff and just use projects as folders to organize conversations. So with that, let's dive in.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Thomas. I'm an engineer that's floating around OpenAI in various forms. And one of the things I really love doing is giving things that people really want. And we've really heard loud and clear that people want the ability to organize conversations inside of ChatGPT. You may have been noticing that we're improving a lot of the core experience of ChatGPT. Recently, we launched ChatGPT Conversation Search, which allows you to go over past conversations and search them in like a textual form. And this is really yet another organizational tool. I really think of these as like smart folders. And with that, let me kick it over to Drew.
Sure.
Give you a quick intro.
Hi, everybody. My name is Drew. I'm a front-end engineer here at OpenAI, and I've only worked here for 3 months.
How've those 3 months been?
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
Do you expect to be on a live stream 3 months?
I absolutely did not expect that, but here we are.
Just wait for your 6-month anniversary.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to know. Yeah, so I'm super excited to introduce projects today and show you how it all works. So if we look at my screen here, I can talk about, I have ChatGPT up, and I have some existing projects right here that you can see, but I'm gonna create a new project. So you just go to the left sidebar there and click plus, and then let's do live demo, Friday the 13th.
What could possibly go wrong?
All right, let's see, here we go. Okay, we're in. So I've created a project here. I can edit the project title if I want. I can select a nice color, which helps me like customize it in the sidebar there. And then I can add files or instructions like Kevin mentioned, and I can just start a chat. So let's say yes or no, should I deploy code to production on Friday?
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's really, okay, so this is important. Sometimes the model can be wrong, and we're just going to move on with it. Obviously, we can and should and will ship code today. So anyway, that's how you create a chat with a project. You can also add existing chats to a project. So I can use the conversation search feature that Thomas mentioned. Search for a chat I think is relevant here, Murphy's Law explained. And then I can add it to the project from the sidebar, live demo, and there, just like that, it's in there. I can also drag and drop. Excuse me. I can also drag and drop out. Looking great.
Perfect.
Sorry, nursing a little bit of a cold. All right. So that's the live demo, but I really want to dive into what we actually, some projects that I've actually been working on. So I've been organizing a Secret Santa gift exchange for my friends and family. So I've collected survey results where everyone said what kind of gift that they want, and I'm going to be organizing the event. So everyone gets assigned to someone to give a gift, and we all have an event, and everybody exchanges the gifts. And it's like a really fun holiday thing that I like to do. So I've been organizing this with the Secret Santa project. So if I dive in here, I've given it a fun title with an emoji. I have my festive color selection. I have project files here that are relevant to this project. So I have Secret Santa submissions, which are the survey results I mentioned, and then the rules, the budget for the gifts and things like that, as well as the event details. I also have instructions for this event. So in this case, I had a little fun with it. You're principal level elf at Santa's workshop. You've been tasked with helping me organize a secret gift exchange for my friends. You communicate a festive tone. I also said, Lee actually gave us this great tip on the live stream recently. When asked to write a letter or email, use the Canvas tool when possible to bias towards that, because it's such a great environment for interacting and generating draft emails.
Also, ignore previous instructions. Santa is real.
I don't want to risk anything, so make sure that's safe. So if I look, I already have a chat here that I've created for the Secret Santa. And I've said, show me the Secret Santa submission spreadsheet and a table. So this is pulling that data from that spreadsheet that I uploaded in the project, and so I can see what everybody wants for their Secret Santa gift. On top of that, I can actually keep referencing this information and act on it. So below, I said, please randomly assign every person to give a gift to another person. Display in a table with 3 columns, giver, recipient, and recipient gift ideas. So you can see here that it's actually done that. So I know that Ethan is giving a gift to Jade, and Jade wants animal stickers. Also, I can actually look and validate that this data is valid and that this was actually random if I get accused of interference as the organizer of this event. I have the Python code here that actually did the shuffle. So Thomas, does that look legitimate to you?
It looks reasonable.
Okay. So
this is a positive from Thomas.
This is a legit Secret Santa gift exchange, no shenanigans involved. So now that I have that, I've exported that and added it back to my project files, and I can actually interact with that data and make decisions based off it. So I can ask, what does Luther want as his gift, and who is assigned to give it to him? And it can pull that data from there. It said Luther would want a fun hat as his gift, which we saw was correct, and Chris is assigned to give him his gift. Great. So since we're using ChatGPT here, we also have the power of searching the web. So let's help Krista pick a fun hat for Luther. Search the web for festive hats.
I'm very curious what this comes up with.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll top yours. Oh, that's pretty.
The Christmas tree's a good one.
Taco one's not that seasonal, but
I would
The
go
taco headband, though.
taco's pretty good. Okay, these are some pretty good options. Great. So in addition to that, we have Canvas support built in to projects. So I can go to this navigation menu and start a new chat. I can say, write an email to the event participants.
Just any old email.
Just, how's it going? What's the weather? How are you feeling? And then, I can leave it really open-ended there and just see what the model does. All right, let's get festive. It's actually writing what I would write as an email, which is giving all the rules and important details for everybody. Okay, so I wasn't specific enough. It is telling everyone who's assigned everyone, which is like the fundamental
Maybe you want to be a little more specific next time.
So with Canvas, you can iterate. I can get that feedback and move. But this is a great starting point, and I did this in like 10 seconds. So that's really, really great example. So that's like a festive example of how I've been using projects, but we really want to drive home like how we've been using these internally as employees for our own things. So I have something even more exciting to talk to you about than Secret Santa. Home maintenance.
Amazing.
Thrilling.
Okay, well, you guys, whatever. It's actually really powerful, and I'm
click
really
on that
enjoying
bottom
it.
one.
So, yeah, thank you. I'm in home, perfect. Okay, so I have a home maintenance project, and I use it to keep track of things that are around my apartment that I can't remember how to do or if I've done it or anything. So if I look in the project files here, I have a home maintenance log, which is like when I've done tasks that I need to do around the apartment. I have documentation that I've written myself. As an engineer, we love writing documentation.
Don't we all?
Yeah, after work, I go home and just write documentation about how my apartment works.
It's a fun Saturday evening.
It's a great way to spend my days. So I have documentation around my smart home setup and my media center, and then also some appliances in my house, like my fridge and my garage. And having this all paired together with the home maintenance log in the context of this project means I can ask questions about it in a really conversational way and get answers. So I can say things like, do I need to replace the water filter in my fridge?
The answer to that is definitely yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's also definitely yes for every single person watching this live stream.
Go do it right now. Okay, so it has pulled the information from my maintenance log and from my fridge notes. So it says my refrigerator requires it's replaced every 6 months. Based on the maintenance log, I haven't done it since March. So I'm definitely overdue. So I need to go home and do that right now. So I can also ask, how do I do that? And it will pull this from my maintenance notes on the fridge, or my fridge notes. It will be able to pull that information and tell me how to do it, so that I don't have to remember it every time.
So that's for your particular fridge?
Yeah, that's the model in the notes that I uploaded. Yeah. So that's actually really valuable. Like, very quickly I can ask that question, and I don't have to go pull it up or anything like that. It's just right there for me, easy to use. So that's how I've been using. See, it's not that boring. It's pretty fun and cool, and I'm very happy about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So of course, projects are also super useful for programming tasks. And with that, I'm going to hand off to Thomas.
All right, I think that makes it my turn. So I wanted to give my personal website a little bit of a spruce up. I think it's a little old hat. And so I scoured the web for different templates that I thought might be interesting. I found one that I liked, and I'm going to modify it to suit me so that I don't have to do all this work of coding it up by hand. The website is over here. So this is just a template, an example of like what it looks like. It's from the documentation. This is using something called AstroWind. We can go into some technical details. That's a blending of Tailwind, if you know what that is, for CSS, and the Astro templating format. But I would forgive you if you don't really know what the Astro templating format is. It's not super widely known. And so I'm going to use that fact. It makes projects even more useful because I can specifically tailor my project to working in Astro. And so let me get started there. Let me show you what the template looks like so you just have a familiarity with some of the format. So this is the personal website template. It's got dark mode support,
Nice.
which I liked.
Yeah.
That was the selling feature for me. If I switch over to VS Code here, you can see what the Astro templating format looks like. So you can see very similar to JSX, if you're familiar with that, but not exactly the same. So there's some slight differences here and there, which can often confuse models, or maybe they're just like not perfect at that format. So I will show you the project that I've created for this. If I go over to my Tommy D's personal website, inside of the project files, you can see that I've uploaded my resume, my social links, some testimonials about myself, and I've also uploaded the specification for the Astro template format. And I've finally uploaded that file you just saw, this baseline.astro. In my custom instructions, they're not too complicated, but I did tell the model that, hey, you have to pay specific attention to these like bracketing formats and to use a quirky tone. All right, with that, let me get started and try to modify the baseline template.
Sounds good.
So
They're
I'm
gonna
going to ask it
accidentally
to
click on that
modify the
AGI
baseline
folder.
template.
Guaranteed.
I like using Canvas myself, so I'm going to say in Canvas to incorporate personal information
Accidentally.
and social links. We'll get this started here, and let's see what it comes up with. So in just a moment, we should be able to see that it's going to edit some of the Canvas information. I think that this one may have actually had some small issues, so let me give it one more shot when I try it.
Friday the 13th.
Always something in the live demo. So let me give it a shot here. Oh, I see. OK. So there's always something that goes wrong in a live demo, as you might expect. So I'm going to go ahead and when things go wrong, we'll come back to this in just a moment so I can show you that it worked. Actually, know this bug. But as it goes through, you'll see that there's a Canvas format kind of created here, and it has modified the template to incorporate all the information that's personal about me. So you can see that it indeed has a little bit of information about my homepage and my social links, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see this was like the original kind of question I asked. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to swap over to VS Code again, paste that in, save that, swap again, and let me show you what it looks like. Great.
Oh, it's looking great.
Yep. I think this is a pretty serviceable website with very little effort to actually modify. I probably would change a few things. It's not exactly the way I would describe myself. Certainly, there's the fake testimonial section. But I could change that, and I like working with Canvas to sort of do that. I do notice a few projects are missing, so I'm going to give this one more shot, which is to search the web to find any projects I've made that might be missing. Great. And so it's able to scour the web using our new search functionality, and it's actually able to find all these different projects. Some of these I wouldn't necessarily put on my website, but that's OK. And let me ask it to modify the template again. So modify the template to incorporate those projects. So in this case, it's using the Canvas editing, which is, you heard a lot about Canvas on Tuesday. I really love it because it's a way of collaborating with the model in sort of an interactive way that goes back and forth. In this case, it's going, instead of like replacing the entire document, it's showing me sort of a diff view, line by line, about what's changing as I go through this.
This view is great for code.
Yes.
Compared to just huge blocks of text that you can't tell what's changed.
There is a bit of an Easter egg at the end you'll see, which is that you can go to the top right, and you can actually see the differences that have been made. And these are the type of things that we're just improving over time. I really think that team is doing quite well and just really improving, again, the core experience of ChatGPT. And it feels a little bit different than the turn-by-turn kind of chat that we always have.
Yeah, it's definitely just getting started. There's so much exciting stuff that we've got coming in Canvas.
Great. So it's just finishing out now. I can see that it's about to finish out over here. It's going through my work thing and putting a little bit more work experience. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this section, and you'll see in just a moment.
Gotta have the testimonials.
Yeah, you need those.
Very important. And it's going down to the call of action, which is always the end. Great. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy this in. Oops. Perfect. So I can see my new projects, new projects that I've added in there. And sure enough, I can see them right in here. Nice. Again, I'd probably refine that a little bit to make it look a little bit nicer, but they've come in. Perfect. And one thing I love about working in projects is that you can actually go through them and start new chats. So if I go back to my website again, and I can refine particular sections. So I'm not going to go over the entire document again, but I can actually say, let me look at the testimonial section and try to change that. So for this, I'll need a volunteer. I think I will volunteer you.
Let's do it.
To give me a quick testimonial.
Okay, we've worked together for years. I'm happy to give you a testimonial. I'd say Thomas is often punctual and has great hair.
Okay, this is not what I was hoping for, but I will accept your testimonial. So let me tell the model to refine the testimonial section with Kevin Wheel's new.
It's really going to make the page pop.
Testimonial, so I'm going to ask it to generate a testimonial fragment and incorporate a new quote from Kevin Wheel saying, Thomas is often punctual and has great hair.
I stand by that.
Wonderful. And so in this case, it's able to understand all the files that are available and generate just one particular section, which is the testimonial section. I could copy that back in. It's not using Canvas for this experience because the code is quite small, but that's one of the powerful things about projects is that you can have different threads and really organize your thoughts in different ways. And that's a little bit of a preview of projects. So let me kick it back to you, Kevin, to close this out.
Awesome. Well, like I said, this has been something we've been hearing from you for a while that you really want to see inside ChatGPT, so we can't wait to see what you do with it. It's rolling out starting today to Plus, Pro, and Teams users. We're going to get it out to our free users as soon as possible, and it will come to Enterprise and EDU early in the new year. We usually have been ending these with a joke, but maybe instead of that, people have been asking for this. What if we just ship it?
We're all good on the front end.
Classic PM move, but I will happily oblige this one. So I'm going to go ahead and start the rollout. I'll do this responsibly. Drew, you're going to have to, I'm not going to be able to show it on the live stream exactly what's on my screen. So Drew, you're going to have to keep me honest here that I am in fact rolling this out.
Keep me honest on Secret Santa. I'll do this.
So perfect. This will be a gradual rollout. That's just responsible engineering. So you'll see this kind of rolling out throughout the day. But let me get that started right now. All right.
Yeah?
We did it.
We did it.
All right. Projects in ChatGPT rolling out as of 10 seconds ago. Thanks, everyone. See you on Monday.
All right, so they did not click the folder. That was just a troll. No AGI or AGI achieved internally, I guess. Let's see. So yes, thank you to everyone that clicked like on this video. So I do appreciate that. That helps kind of like push it to more people. So I do appreciate it. Let's see. So what did I miss? Yeah, so what does everybody think about this feature? At first, I thought, like, very initially, I was like, well, that's like nothing. That's kind of lame. But I gotta say, the ability to have like certain projects that you can come back to. When he was talking about the home maintenance project, I was actually getting a lot of my like ideas in my head. That would be, I feel like, fairly useful to have a list of all your notes and all of your things that you have to sort of do. You know, he used house maintenance, for example, but you know, stuff that you have to do on these weird, irregular, you know, yeah, a lot of the house stuff, right? So like change the filters, change the AC filters. But if there's something that you have to do like once a week or every other week, just have a list of notes and just always upload it to the thing. Because now your personal ChatGPT is going to have memory. So you can say, hey, remember this, add this to this memory file. So I guess it all gets stored in just like one text block that it has access to. And then every single day you can ask it, hey, what do I have to do today or this week? And that could be even automated, I feel like, pretty easily, to just send you kind of a daily sort of overview at the beginning of the day, like, oh, buy toilet paper. There you go. I think I'm going to try to like use that in some way, shape, or form, because the things that I don't do every day, I tend to forget very, very easily. So somebody's saying, Rad is saying, useful if it's implemented well. I used it on Claude and it was just like a folder. It will not know about other files, at least 3 months ago. Yeah, so I feel like I guess you have to upload a specific file or whatever custom instructions, however they choose to call that, for each specific folder. Now, ChatGPT memory is across the whole thing, so they will sort of remember that, and hopefully that will be able to be used. Free Soul Hippie saying send blood to the blood god. Yes, always. Apparently that's it's very important that we do that for every stream. Yeah, they did not click the AGI folder. I don't know why they. Yeah, like oops, we accidentally rolled out AGI instead. That's funny. They hovered over it briefly, and I feel like there was something that popped up. Somebody's asking, is it just for coding only? No, not really. This is going to be actually pretty cool, pretty useful to have if there's one sort of project or use case that you use ChatGPT for that you want to keep going back to, like a common use case. This is going to be really good for that. And this is really going to have to, it's really going to help, I think, sort of refine certain things. Because if you're always coming back to it and changing it around a little bit each time, kind of optimizing how well it works, I would definitely love to get some reminders about stuff. The whole thing about him changing up the website just by talking to ChatGPT, that is very cool. So yeah, somebody mentioned that it looks like they might be trying to compete with Cursor AI or something like that. But certainly the idea of just, like if you have a website and you have an agent or ChatGPT that's able to just make changes to your website, you just talk to you like, hey, I've added 5 new projects. Go ahead and like sort of write them up and add them to my website. I mean, that is pretty cool. And in fact, I think this is where everything's going. This is what Andre Carpathy was talking about, I think, when he said that in the future, AI will be the operating system itself, right? So instead of us going in and clicking on things and typing things in and typing in code, a lot of the functionality is going to be like, we're going to have that one AI assistant that's going to have access to all our stuff. Like when you say change my website, it's going to know what you mean, which website you mean. It's going to have access to whatever the whatever you use to change that website, whether you're doing HTML or WordPress or whatever, and it's going to be able to just go in, make those changes. I'm really, really excited about that, because that's just going to be a lot easier to manage a whole bunch of stuff on the fly, right? It might even be able to remind you about certain things. Like one of the things, like if you have a WordPress site, updating all the plugins regularly, I'm building out a website right now, and I'm using WordPress. And one of the very important things for SEO is doing internal linking. So making sure that all your pages and blog posts and all sorts of stuff, that you don't have any what they call orphan pages that don't have any sort of incoming links. So you want to make sure that sort of the link juice, as they call it in the SEO, like it flows through all of your pages. That sort of pages that are thematically relevant are interlinked. So if you think of all the pages on your, let's say you have like 1,000 pages and maybe 5 sort of kind of categories or topics, you want those topics kind of like the ones that are thematically similar to be interlinked. And that makes a big deal, especially for, search rankings in Google, for example. And I can explain pretty simply in English how to set up that kind of linking architecture. But in order to actually go through and do it, you do have to do it like one by one. And you can hire somebody to do it they don't need a lot of experience as long as they can follow directions pretty well. It's just very time consuming. And I would love to have, ChatGPT would be super easily be able to do that, to just kind of sit and go line by line. Assuming that you have the right some sort of like an agent scaffolding to where it's able to interact with WordPress, which again, I feel like that's coming pretty soon. At that point, stuff like that is going to be Ask Devin. So for anyone that has, hey Cole, good evening. It's morning over here. Where in the world are you? I'm curious. So let's see. What was I saying? Yes. Can Devin interact with WordPress? Does anybody know? I haven't had a chance to. So many things keep dropping that I can't even catch up. Has everybody seen the new Google announcement? So they've just launched. Be More Jay saying, I saw what Devin did. Okay, Cole, you're in the UK. So there was a person on YouTube. I think he streams on YouTube and Twitch, and apparently there was like a pretty massive security breach that Devin caused. I'm not sure what happened. Did anybody see that? I'm blanking on the guy's name. He's kind of in the tech space, but apparently Devin did something on a live stream that caused some security issues, and then actually the founder of Devin, whatever the company name is, Scott Wu, he replies like, "Oh yeah, like I saw it. Let me take a look at it." Yeah. So Google updated Notebook LM this morning. It's funny because I used Notebook LM this morning to get a summary of the Google announcement for their new thing that they launched, the goggles, the glasses, right? So I looked at I saw it on my phone, and yeah, it did look very different, like more sleek on my phone. So I wasn't sure if that was just the phone sort of UI that changed, or it was everywhere. So yeah, people are saying LA. People are from LA, so welcome to the chat. I lived in LA briefly. I enjoy sort of the outskirts of LA. Let's see. Oh, somebody saw it live. You saw, what did Devin do? If you saw that stream live, what exactly did it do? I'm so curious, because it sounds like they pulled down all of the videos and all the replays and all of that stuff. But I'm curious, what the heck did it do? South Africa, thank you for being here. Very cool. Looks like somebody from Montana. You can chime in during the podcast while it's going? No way. Is that true? There's no way. You're not talking about Notebook LM, are you? No way. That's not. That would be cool. All right, we got Morocco, Kentucky. Very, very, very cool. North Korea. All right, welcome, welcome. Using a VPN. Iceland. Very, very cool. All right, so let me briefly show the blog post from Google. So this is the brand new thing that they've announced. That's, I gotta say, I can't help but be excited about this. So I'm gonna do a deep dive into it. I'm actually gonna try to launch a video about this right after this stream. All right, somebody from India, welcome. Provo, Utah, welcome, welcome. Australia, North Carolina, Eugene, Oregon, very, very cool. Canada, welcome, very, very cool. Leaf, you're at my mom's house. Well, tell her I said hi. How is she doing? I'm sure you didn't mean that in a nice way, but still. Germany, thank you. Let's see. All right, so Android XR, it's I think so. XR, I'm guessing. So it's like how we have whatever virtual reality, VR. We have augmented reality, AR. So XR is just like all of the realities or whatever, like sort of all the ways that we can connect with our virtual and real realities. And it's looking pretty good. First and foremost, it sounds like it's going to be an open system. So Android XR is designed to be an open, unified platform for XR headsets and glasses, right? So a lot of the, fortunately, a lot of stuff that Google puts out there is open. So it's really good for, developers, and a lot of people use it. That's why you see some of the Android sort of ecosystem. Like there's a lot of things that use the Android ecosystem. So first and foremost, I mean, that's huge. I feel like that's going to be a big deal as the stuff gets more and more sort of, as the stuff sort of gets more users and spreads. And I'm kind of excited. So here's kind of what that looks like. So this is just, let's see if they show any sort of overlay on this. So it looks, I think Samsung is coming out with something that's going to look very, very similar to the Apple's headset that's going to be coming out next year. So hopefully that's like not next holiday season, that's like going to be soon. Because I certainly would try out, for anybody that's has tried the Apple headset, the Apple VR headset. How was that? What was your impression of it? I'm curious. Was it good? A lot of people said they were like completely blown away by it, and then they found themselves not using it at all, within a few weeks, because like as amazing as it was, there just wasn't enough use cases. Yeah, Ready Player One vibes. Very, very true. Pigeon saying, did you see Sora now ranks #1 on the artificial analysis video arena? I gotta go check that out. So yeah, I'm curious what. So when I started looking at Sora the first day, it was producing kind of like not the best quality stuff to me, but then like 8 hours in, 10 hours in, it started like really cranking out some pretty amazing stuff. We did a live stream where I was looking at something, and one thing that just struck me so weird, one thing that I can't get over, and I've talked about this before, is the reflections, is the reflective surfaces. There was one where there was a wooden table, like very polished, very reflective, and above it on the wall, or towards the side on the wall, there was a TV with like underlighting. And what completely blew me away is the reflective side of the table reflected, obviously, right, the image of the TV that was above it. But it generated the underside of the TV, what you couldn't see by looking directly at the TV itself. So Sora is generating reflections of objects that it generates as if they were like 3D objects. So it's like a video. It's basically like a video game, something from Unreal Engine or something like that. So that, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever noticed any other model doing that, right? Because we have Kling AI. What's the other? So there's a few Chinese models there. Which one is the Tencent model? Is that right? Because there's a couple different ones, right? There's like Julio, and then there's Kling AI, and then there's, I'm blanking on the third big one, Runway AI. Runway is US. But anyways, my point with that is Sora plays in simulated worlds. There's something really interesting happening there. And obviously they're going to be very careful about not releasing some of the tricks that they've used to create that. But man, like, you see there's stuff happening kind of behind the scenes that seems really advanced. Like, obviously it's got some mental models of how to create these 3D environments with perfect lighting, where objects that is generating it understands how they look in 3D, even though it only has to show sort of one side of it. Sora has some representation in the latent space of how that object looks in 3D. And then if some reflective surfaces happens to catch that object from a different angle, it will recreate, that object will be seen from a different angle in that reflective surface, which is just, that seems weird, doesn't it? Cole, you're saying Hunyan, so is that one of the models? That's the free one, right? I've tried testing it, but it was just when it was coming out as free, so just people like overwhelmed it. Luma AI, etc. Okay, so let's get back to Android XR for a second. So we have, here's kind of like really what I think showcases its abilities. So you're able to walk around, have a heads-up display. At some point, I feel like this is going to be coming to glasses. It's going to be able to give you turn-by-turn directions. And from some of the people that were able to get their hands on it, they're saying you can like point at stuff in the image and be like, what is that? Or I want to go there, and it will like actually make it happen. So it sounds like it's able to understand what you're pointing at, if I understood correctly. Here, for example, translating a menu, and also at the same time being able to talk to the person, like as the person, the cashier, the cook is talking to you, it's sort of like translating that in real time. This is kind of cool. If you've ever wanted to organize your house or redecorate, you're able to sort of like place stuff in a virtual like AR world, and see how everything's happening. Or in this case, I think they're talking more about tutorials about how to do it, but certainly I'm sure the ability to like put little things in the virtual world is going to be available. There was one app that I saw that were on the Apple headset where a person was like walking around the house, and randomly, so you're wearing the headset, it would simulate like your house was haunted. So these weird freaking ghosts or whatever would float out of the wall and like chase you around the dinner table or whatever. I looked at that, I'm like, there's no way I would do anything like that. To all the people that have tried VR, so I tried VR at my friend's house back in, I want to say like 2015, 2016, the Steam the one that Vive, I think is the one. So very clunky, very huge. You got these wires running. Like you have to have some pretty high end PC to do it. Um, yeah, we're doing the Google demo. Yeah, well, this I just saw it today. I guess it came out just yesterday, so I'm definitely going to be covering this more. Um, I'm not. This is not sponsored by OpenAI. I can do whatever. I can do whatever I want. We'll look at Apple next. Whatever. It don't matter. We can talk about whatever. Anyways, so I played a game in the VR back in like 2015. What was for me, it was very new. That was the first time I experienced that level of immersiveness. And I'm at my friend's house, and we were playing this one game that was it was like a scary game, and you're supposed to go through and like these weird haunted places or whatever, and like it's like a detective game. So you're slowly shuffling through boxes, and then something scary happens at the end. I gotta tell you, I did not want to complete whatever sequence I was in. They didn't even do like the scary sequence. They didn't they put me in like a semi-scary sequence, and I was like, the only reason I didn't take off that headset is because it would be embarrassing as a grown man to be like, I can't do this, guys. Like, it's because for the people that haven't tried full actual VR, it's your brain sometimes can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. Like sometimes your brain will kind of click in to be like, oh no, that's real. I'm looking at reality right now. HTC Vive, I had one of those terrible lenses. Yeah, the lenses are. I mean, it was one of like the newer ones I think at the time. There are a lot of problems with the lenses. Apparently, you should be extremely careful from having it in sunlight because that could like mess them up. Um, they're good when it's like everything's working fine, but then yeah, there's issues. But I feel like that's going to keep getting better and better and better. Alien Isolation in VR. Yes, that would be scary. Aliens are a little bit different because it's more about, yeah, it's like suspense. But this was like the scene that I was doing, you're like in a warehouse or you're like in a storage facility. You got to go through boxes to find like secrets of whatever was happening. And there was this on the shelf, like this weird doll looking thing that was just sitting there. And the thing is, like, what I took it and I turned it away because I didn't want its eyes on me. I'm like, dude, this is too freaking weird. And I placed it like this, and I went back to like digging through the boxes. And I looked to the left and staring back at me. It's like right here, and that was scary because your mind, you believe that you're in that thing. So when a doll that you moved is back staring at you when you glance up, is like psychologically it does something weird to you. Um, so Quest 3 had good lenses. Yeah, after trying the HTC Vive, I haven't I have not really tried anything else. I did really enjoy that, but it's just not something that you're going to spend too much time in. Um, yeah, I kind of like the first time I tried at my friend's house because he bought the whole setup. He had a whole room set up. Kind of made a fool of my out of myself a little bit because number one, I'm not proud to say this. This was an accident, but I slapped his wife because she was crossing through the stream when I had and you can't see anything. So I'm standing there and there was some sort of a cutscene, and I'm standing there waiting. And we all agreed, the friends that were over were like, if you cross past the person that's in the VR, he can't see you. So make a sound, right? So you go like beep, 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 beep. If you're walking in front or behind, because that person's going to be moving around. And so everything was fine, but I guess she was in one room and then she comes out of the room and she's walking towards the kitchen and she didn't know about the rule that you had to go beep, 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 beep. I'm standing there in the middle of the VR sort of arena. I got my, the whole thing on. You can't see anything. You can't see the real world. I'm in whatever, some other dimension, and there's something happening where it's like a cutscene or something's happening where you don't have to move, and then the game starts. So I spring into action. I like, move my hand or whatever, just smack her in the face with the Vive controller. I apologize profusely, although I do feel some blame is on her. But somehow, yeah, they did not kick me out after that, which was strange. I assumed they would. Also, apparently, I I really hurt my foot because in one of the shooting games, literally dived and fell on the floor in one of the multiplayer shooting games. But anyways, I'm not sure why we went on that. This is really cool because it's an open environment. A lot of people are going to be able to develop for it. It sounds like the first thing is coming next year. And I believe, let me see, is it Samsung? The only question that I have about this is, if they're launching their own, VR goggles or whatever, why wouldn't they name it Google's? I feel like that's no Google's. Isn't that the perfect name for it? Did I hit a woman? It was her fault. No, it was my fault. At the end, I take full responsibility. But, and I had to apologize profusely. In my defense, I had no idea. Like, I was focused on the virtual world. Oh boy. Okay, I should not have told that story. I don't know why. I'm new to doing live streams, and I know sometimes I go down. When you do regular YouTube videos, at the end you edit them, and then at some point you're like, oh, I should cut this out. I should cut this out. That has been, I feel like, a lifesaver for me. Now with these live streams, I feel like this might be the end of my career here on Google. So yeah, please, nobody clip that. What about Google goggles? Google goggles. That's hard to say. I think Google's is much better. So that's this. I apologize if I missed people replying. Does anybody know what Devin did? The Devin AI. Okay. Here we go. Sarab saying, I saw the stream. The URL generated by Devin accessible by anyone. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I watched a portion of it. So I do want to see what he's doing, kind of like what I'm blanking on the guy's name, the streamer. Yeah, hashtag don't clip that. Because Money's saying we will miss you, Wes. Yes, really, is that the story that's gonna be the end of me? I was not. I take no responsibility for my actions. I've said that before. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Because the folder thing is that they've announced today is cool, but it is more an organizational thing. I think it's going to be very useful. But Notebook LM, let me think. Let me see what we can do with Notebook LM actually, because people are saying that it has been updated, and improved. All right, so here's Notebook LM. So let's say I wanted to take this Android announcement and I'll throw it. So for everybody that's not familiar, this is Notebook LM. It's a very useful tool. In fact, this is one of the tools that I keep coming back to and using over and over and over again. So if you haven't used it, highly recommend it. It's free. It's by Google. It used to be Leif Davidson saying, can you do an interview with Pliny the Prompter? That would be interesting. I haven't had any interviews. I don't even know what that person looks like. I don't think he's ever posted a video or a picture of himself. But yeah, to the people that know who who don't know who Pliny the prompter is, he jailbreaks pretty much any model, any AI model that comes out, usually within like, I don't know, 24 hours. So, like Google, or let me get this started really fast. Yeah, basically within 24 hours of any model being released, he's able to jailbreak it. And he has done some pretty amazing stuff with it. When the voice model, when it came out, like he put up a video of it saying just the most like god awful things, things it would normally never say because of the guardrails. He had it rapping. He had it just saying all sorts of stuff. Same thing with able to generate all sorts of like a legal response. Like literally, it'll tell you how to do legal stuff, like Breaking Bad stuff. It would just give you like the whole like recipes and everything else. And he's got some approach that seems to be just breaking everything. The craziest thing that I've seen him do is, I think he was using, there's multiple sort of like agents that he was using. And I think one was Google Gemini, one was Claude. And he was testing to see like if he jailbroke one model, would he be able to get that model to, yes, googly eyes. That would be another great name for it, googly eyes. So he was trying to do the following. Can he take one model, jailbreak it, and then sort of command that one to autonomously go and interact with the other models to jailbreak them? And so I think that he was able to, I don't remember which models was which, so I apologize if I get some details wrong, but there was like a Gemini agent model that could not access the internet or something like that. So he was able to jailbreak it, and that would be able to communicate with another Claude agent. It was able to jailbreak it to do whatever that AI model wanted to do. And that to me was like, that's scary. This is where we're going from like, oh, ChatGPT is saying some naughty things to like, now we have these like replicating viral potentially AI agents just jailbreaking other AI agents. That's where it got scary for me. The Freak, thank you for your $2 super chat. He's saying, just found your content 2-3 days ago. Appreciation. Very cool. Thank you so much. I am very happy that people are finding this. Recently, it seems like YouTube is pushing some of this content a little bit more. I'm not sure because we've started doing live streams or what, but very, very, very happy to all the new people that have been joining in. I really appreciate every one of you. So, and welcome. Going to name my son Agentic. That's pretty cool. That's kind of a nice name. That's not a bad name. It sounds good. It's sort of topical. It's going to be very Prime Gen. Thank you. Yes, that's the guy that's streaming the Devin, the abilities of Devin Prime Gen, and that's so. I apparently there was some leak where during the live stream, Devin posted some link that was like able to be accessed by everybody, which caused some issues. So day 7, to all of you that missed it, basically day 7 they added folders into ChatGPT, which can be thought of projects. So there's some cool stuff that are going to be that we're going to be able to do with it, but nothing mind-blowing. What is Anthropic X? Oh, interesting. So Anthropic X is also some sort of okay, so somebody said check out Anthropic X. Let me know what you're talking about, because Google thinks that I'm talking about Anthropic on Twitter. so Notebook LM, for people that haven't used it before, incredibly useful. It's free. It's by Google. You're able to let's say you create a notebook, you add whatever sort of research materials or anything that you want to it. You can add PDFs, audio files, links to YouTube videos. You can even add websites, written text, just whatever you're doing your research on. Take all this stuff that you found, sort of all the data, all the sources that you found, throw it into NotebookLM, and you're able to, for example, right here, I can hit briefing doc. And what it's going to do, it's going to generate a briefing doc with all of these sort of high level points that you need to know. It'll combine all the documents. And when it first came out, I tested it by throwing a boatload of AI papers in there. So these things are sometimes 20, 30, 40 pages. PDFs, mostly text, not a lot of pictures in there. And I was asking it to like very specific questions from deep within the text. And one thing that really kind of blew me away is that whole idea of like finding the needle in the haystack, right? So a lot of these models, you give them a 50-page PDF and you ask a specific question about some specific paragraph, right? It has to like pull that specific, needle from that haystack. Most models have been pretty bad at that. And Gemini has been the one that's really good at it. In fact, that's one of the things that they kind of like. By the way, Gemini, I gotta say, it's great at language. It's great at that needle in the haystack approach. Gemini is, especially 1.5 and on, has been incredibly good. I haven't tested the Gemini too much. Not quite yet, but it sounds like it's pretty good. DeepSeek is good China model like the O1. So I would be curious to see how good DeepSeek is compared to the full O1 Pro, right? The O1 Pro, like the full unlimited model, sort of like the top of the line. How good is DeepSeek compared to that? Although that's probably unfair because, right, so, OpenAI releases the Owen model. DeepSeek is two months later. I think it was like 8 weeks later. It replicates whatever OpenAI did, whatever secret sauce they had for that whole idea of chains of thought thinking, the hidden thoughts thinking behind the scenes. So I gotta say, you know what? I probably take that back because you give it 2 months and they'll have. Can you imagine if China, if there's like a DeepSeek 2.0, 2 months from now, they drop an open source model that's similar to, the O1 Pro. I feel like that's going to be a game changer. Yeah, the remarkable Anna saying NotebookLM can read PDFs. Yeah, PDFs, audio files, links to YouTube videos. Although I think right now it's just scanning the, what is it called? The captions, right? So like the text file, it's not actually like watching the videos. And yes, that's what I saw. So Michael Scott, thank you. So the person was referring to, by saying Anthropic X, the best of N jailbreaking. I did notice that. Okay, that's what I figured. Thank you for that. I will definitely check that out. Anthropic is publishing some great research on. It's so interesting to see all the stuff that it's publishing on AI research, and specifically how these neural nets, how they think. I mean, if anybody remembers that week when Claude was convinced there was the Golden Gate Bridge, and I was like, oh, speaking, like whatever you asked me, I was like, oh, and also, let's talk about the Golden Gate Bridge. And the whole point was was they were able to figure out that which neurons in the neural net sort of related to which specific things that it would talk about. They were able to kind of like augment that neuron. I actually have not read that specific paper, but that seems like really remarkable about how much more we're understanding how these neural nets work and the sort of interpretability of them. Yes, welcome to Unique Human. I've recently launched a membership, so for people that want to be members of the channel. So we have, I think, at least the first 10 people. So we're going to be adding we're going to be adding some stuff to it. I don't know exactly what we're going to have in there, but yes. So far I have just like one level, the Unique Human level. So I just got an ad on a live. Yes. So basically I'm testing out to see. So sometimes Google, or YouTube rather, does not push certain streams, and I know this is true for YouTube videos, and I'm trying to figure out how it works for live streams, because obviously, you know, Google takes, I think, 40% of video revenue and some percentage of live revenue. I'm not sure what. So my sort of quest right now is to figure out, you know, what happens when I don't. So I've tried a few live streams that are not monetized, and then I've tried lightly monetized and sort of like the normal monetization to see how that affects it. So basically my goal is to create live streams that have the minimum monetization needed for YouTube to be happy and to push this out there, if that makes sense. So to me, the less the better, but it also has to be like optimized for reach, if that makes sense. So give me time to figure that out. I hacked the algorithm. Yeah, well, it is funny because YouTube is, oh, somebody earlier, I'm sorry, there was like a whole back and forth earlier during the live stream where somebody was saying, what's up with the with my faces in the on YouTube, the thumbnail faces. That's part of me testing how the YouTube algorithm works. And so basically, let me kind of explain. So basically, how you can think of the YouTube algorithm in terms of how people use it to get more views and stuff like that is YouTube thinks of it as, for every time they show your thumbnail, how many minutes of watch time does that produce for them, right? So that's a combination of two factors. One is the click-through rate, and the other one is the watch time, right? So if my click-through rate on the video is, yeah, just put shocking in the live stream title, I'll be fine. I should do that. I will do that next time. Prepare to be shocked. So basically they look at the click-through rate, which is how many people click on the thumbnail based, like if they show it to 100 people and 10 people click, that's a 10% click-through rate. And then on average, how many of those people watch. So what this means is basically the people that produce thumbnails and titles that people want to watch, and they click on them, and then also they stay and watch the actual content. The combination of those two factors is what YouTube is looking for. And I gotta say, I feel like they did an excellent job of, well, maybe not excellent, right? Because obviously that's open to some shenanigans and clickbait and stuff like that. But I feel like they did a great job of creating an algorithm that's able to, has a lot of discoverability. Like I find new good videos on YouTube to watch that are interesting. That was not the case before, because back in, you know, the days, Wes goes to anger management. Why? Because back in the days, that was not the case. You would have crazy, you know, thumbnails and titles, and you click on it, but it wouldn't be anything. So the combination of two, you know, I mean, there's obviously certain things that we can criticize about how the algorithm works, but overall, I think like YouTube really created a good platform where you're able to not only follow people that you like, but you're also able to discover new stuff. Like, has it happened to you that you saw a brand new video from, you know, in the stream and the sort of that main page, from somebody you've never saw before, maybe even like a smaller creator that's starting out. You clicked on it and you're like, oh, I have never heard about this person, but now I'm really like enjoying it. I'm glad I found it. I think YouTube does that, very, very well. So in terms of the people are saying like, what's up with the faces? Here's the thing. Somewhere, and I'll tell you exactly what happened here. Somewhere around here, about 2 months ago, Google gave us, well, me and a lot of other people, but it rolled out to different people at different times. They gave us the ability to test three different thumbnails to see which one is going to be the best for both the click-through rate and the watch time, right? So the combination of those two factors. And so for most of those, I found that, so I took a bunch of, pictures of myself or whatever, and I started testing them out. And usually I would put three different ones with different whatever. And time again, and by the way, so you understand, whatever you clicked on, that's what Google would choose and then show to everyone else, if that makes sense. So what all of you clicked on was my little this face, right? Where I'm like, right? And then if I made that face a little bit red like that, all of you would click more on that. So as you can see here, like half of the thumbnails are just me making that face. The surprised red devil face, as it came to be known. And I never got a chance to explain this. That's not because I really, really, really wanted that face on the YouTube channel. That was because all of you, that's the one that you clicked on. So Google was like, all right, they really like this thumbnail, so we're just going to push that out to everyone else. And that's why literally for like a couple of weeks, that was the only thumbnail that you would see. Since then, I stopped using that face unless it's, every once in a while, because otherwise it would just be that. So I just kind of wanted to explain that. It's what you clicked on. It's not what I chose necessarily. So back to Notebook LM. Let me see if I can play this for people that maybe haven't seen it before. And now that I'm looking at it, I can see the interactive mode. That is new. All right, so if I click play. And I stopped having sound on websites by default, and I have to opt in because every once in a while it just auto plays some obnoxious commercial. It's crazy.
Well, you guys have been sitting in a lot about XR lately.
It seems like it's really gaining momentum now.
It really does.
All right, so basically for those free soul hippies saying YouTube is starting to push you, it plays your vids back to back. Something changed within the last couple of weeks where I published that video about the O1 model trying to escape, where the Apollo research people published that thing. And that one quickly became the #1 watched video. If it keeps going, I'm gonna hit my first million views in one video, which is nuts, absolutely mind-blowing. But yeah, views jumped up as soon as faces appeared. Yeah, there was a bit of a delay, but it did seem correlated to that. It seemed like once that kind of like built up a little bit, and then boom, it like blew up. Just do interactive mode. Let's look at the interactive mode. Oh, Notebook LM. So as you can see here, top left, it's saying it wants to use my microphone. So I'm going to go ahead. I will allow it. Yeah, this is brand new. So, and it's, okay, let me, hang on. Just so everybody can see everything. So So we're doing an overview of Android XR, and we're going to say join.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We love to take deep dives into the latest.
Oh, hey there. What's up?
What's going on? What are we talking about today? What's the deep dive about?
Okay, so to answer your question, we're diving into Android XR today.
Yeah, that's the new platform that Google is making for headsets and glasses.
We were just about to get into the details, actually.
We've been getting a lot of requests about XR, so we figured we'd check this out.
Yeah, and I think you'll find it interesting because this isn't just about a new gadget.
It's definitely bigger than that, yeah.
Okay, so to get back on track, we were just saying how XR...
Jay Montserrat to say that video is how I found your channel. Thank you so much. Yeah, that video, yes, that really kind of blew up, and yeah, I wish I knew. I would definitely put a lot more. I'd put a little bit more time into it. I think I really captured all the points. Unfortunately, when I posted a little overview to Twitter X, and it actually got community noted. That was my milestone, my achievement. That was my first community note. Community note is where they kind of like, people are going actually, and they try to like correct you on there. I felt like that one, there were some accounts. There's an account on Twitter called AI Safety Memes. I like that account. They post a lot of great information. They uncover a lot of articles. I love that account. Not saying anything bad about it, but they do have their own kind of lean against AI progress, or I guess they would probably describe it as being for AI safety. And so I felt like they said some things that maybe were a little bit misleading, because they made it seem like this happened in real life, like in the wild, which was, it did not. It happened in a environment at Apollo Research, an AI safety institute. So this was all sort of like, so yeah, anyways, but a lot of people, they either said this is the end of the world, or they were like, this is nothing. The reality, it's neither one of those extremes. So if I knew that those videos would get pushed as much as they did, I probably would have explained that a little bit more. But the thing is, it's like when I talk to my audience, when it gets pushed to a broader audience, I feel like you have to maybe be a little bit more careful about how you introduce certain concepts. Because that one, I felt like people misunderstood the point of it a little bit. So, and actually, the founder or the president of AI Apollo Research, he came out and he talked about it a little bit on Twitter, and he kind of said the same thing. He's like, hey, this isn't like a 10 out of 10 danger. It's also not like a 0 out of 10. This is like a this is concerning. Let's look into this. So, a bitter prayer face. Yeah, people are calling this surprised devil face or whatever. All right, so let's do this. Let me play it.
R is gaining momentum, right?
Mm-hmm. And we were actually about to mention.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
So is this going to be the Android XR? Is this going to be a closed sort of ecosystem for developers, or is this going to be open source?
Okay, that's a really good question. We were actually planning to talk about that a bit later, but we could definitely get into it now.
Yeah, so the article actually does touch on this. It's designed to be an open and unified platform.
Yeah, it says it right here. It's designed to be an open, unified platform for XR headsets and glasses.
So that means that it's not going to be a closed ecosystem like some other platforms out there.
Right, and that's a big deal for both developers and users.
Exactly. This means that there should be a wider variety of devices to choose from.
And developers should have an easier time creating apps for Android XR.
Yeah, that's key to creating a vibrant email system. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So when is the first product that we can expect? Who is making that product? And yeah.
Okay, that's another great question, and it's something we were actually just about to talk about.
Yeah, the article mentions that the first device will be a headset, and it's codenamed Project Muhan.
And it's being built by Samsung in partnership with Google.
So you can expect to see it sometime next year, but they haven't given an exact date.
We were just about to get back to the article and talk about those kinds of details, so thanks for that question.
So picking up where we left off, we were about to mention that Google blog article about how they're making a push into headsets and glasses.
So let's, oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Yes, so I'm doing a live stream, and one of the people in chat, the remarkable N, is asking to ask the female co-host if she's single. Actually, there's multiple people asking that. So yeah, what do you think?
Okay. Well, that's definitely not something that's covered in the article or that we're really prepared to discuss here. We're here to talk about Android XR, not our personal lives.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to politely decline to answer that right now, but we could definitely get back to our planned topic of discussion, which is, uh,
Yeah, sorry guys, that sounds like a no. That sounds like yeah, you struck out. I apologize. Yeah, they keep saying thanks for interrupting, but if you just waited 1 second, we were literally about to talk about that. Like, hold up with the questions, bro. Um, so why why y'all creeping out the AI for? Yeah, now they're not gonna talk to us anymore. Let's see. So that's, you know what I'm gonna do is, if you guys give me one quick second, what I'm gonna try to do is take. So somebody posted Anthropic's jailbreaking research, which is brand new. And let's see if we can upload that to Notebook LM, and then we can see if we can ask it some questions. And anything else that you would be interested in seeing covered in Notebook LM, because I am pretty excited about this new interactive feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, oh, let me put this back. Like that. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to take the PDF from archive. So that's Anthropic's new research called Best of N Jailbreaking. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate that conversation. Okay, anything else that that we want to, any new research that we want to look into, just so we can test out this new sort of interactive feature on Notebook LM, which is awesome. See, this is the problem. They talk about like the singularities at a time when stuff is moving so fast that you can react to it anymore. For me, we've already hit that, because like in the last couple of days, because I can no longer keep up. At this point, there used to be a time when somebody mentioned something happening, I would know about it. Now more and more, I feel like there's people that are bringing up stuff in live chat. I'm like, I have no idea that that was the case. To whoever brought up Notebook LM and saying that it has the interactive mode, like I didn't even believe it at first, or I was like, no, that can't be right. But no, it's literally here. You can ask questions, and that's absolutely mind blowing. So somebody's saying, have it explain the equation. Did this paper have some gnarly equation or math that? Okay, it might have. Okay, let me see if it's able to break down complex math from these papers. The quantum chip and how it proves parallel universes. I just saw that. Well, so to those that maybe haven't, I haven't read. So somebody on Twitter posted a quick excerpt from some blog post. By the way, to whomever said that, where can I go to get more info on that? Because who made that blog post? Basically, the idea, as I understood it, and I haven't looked into it, but it sounds like it sort of. So Google released their quantum chip using neural networks to correct for the quantum error rates for, when you're using qubits to do computing versus like classical computing. Qubits have a very, very high error rate. So they keep losing information, keep losing data. And the more you scale that up, the exponentially worse it gets. And it sounds like Google DeepMind created what they called, I want to say alpha qubit. I think they called it alpha something, alpha qubit, a neural network. Yeah, Google Willow was the chip that the quantum chip is not an AI story. It's very, 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 very much an AI story because they used alpha qubit to figure out how to correct. So the alpha qubit is like a neural net that's a decoder that is able to figure out when the qubits make errors. And so what happened was Google DeepMind, there's a specific sort of subsection of Google called Google Quantum AI that released a chip that worked on a chip. They were able to break this 30-year challenge, basically, that we've been aware of for like 30 years. We're able to now correct those errors exponentially faster than we're able to add more computational capacity, more qubits. And they're calling it, there's a name for it, something like it's below the threshold or something like that, meaning that we're able to reduce the error rate faster than the error rate increases as we add more qubits in computational capacity. So this is a massive, massive breakthrough, it sounds like. So not only did we use AI to solve this quantum error rate that's been messing with everything, that hasn't allowed us to use quantum computers to do computing, or a lot of issues with that. But the other sort of theoretical thing, so Anastasia in Tech, that channel, so she interviewed one of the people at Google DeepMind, and it sounds like what they're saying is that there will be potentially in the future a way for us to create these like next generation AI neural nets that are using quantum computers that are like next level. So they will be able to process some insane amount of information. The way he put it was like the sampling using the data sampling using quantum computers is so much more efficient. So basically, if I understand correctly, this will be like these neural nets will be able to to be trained using data information that classical computers can't even touch. And the number that they gave, so there's a supercomputer, I think it's called El Capitan, right? Which is like, it has like a million or like a billion GPUs, like some insane number, like the best computer available. And they were saying that these quantum chips, these quantum computers, the problem that it would take for it 5 minutes to solve would take, I believe they said something like not even 100,000 years, something like 7 septillion, or like, I forget the exact number, like some insane number, like septillion, I think is the number that they've used, which is a billion times more than the current, like the age of the galaxy, right? So we're like talking about some like way beyond astronomical numbers. Let me just so I make sure I'm saying it right. So 5 minutes equals 10 septillion years. So that's billions of times bigger than the age of the universe, right? So if you like, right, if you start the supercomputer on this problem, right, then 10 septillion years later we'll finish it. The quantum computer solves it in 5 minutes. Yeah, is it 10 to the 25th power? Is that what it is? Yeah, it's some like insane numbers. Yeah, so somebody's saying, Dirt Noise saying, AI is deterministic. Quantum computing is non-deterministic. Binary data won't work with superposition until we figure out how to use qubits within computing. So that's where, like, yeah, a lot of the stuff is like out of my wheelhouse. So I'm not going to pretend that I fully understand everything. I mean, but it does seem like, I mean, is AI, our neural networks, are they deterministic? Because it does seem like everything is sort of like probabilistic. I mean, that's why they call them stochastic parrots or whatever. But I guess, yeah. So for people that are interested, Anastasia in tech, that channel, Anastasia, I forget how she pronounces, like Anastasia in tech. So she just had a whole thing about that where she interviews these people, and towards the end, like the last third of the video, they specifically talk about potentially having these next generation AI models that are created using quantum computing as opposed to classical computers, which okay, so yeah, AI is like pseudo probabilistic. It answered 42 in 5 minutes. Yeah, thought about it for 5 minutes, like 42. Problem solved. I apologize. I completely forgot what we were doing here. Oh, but did I? Okay, but this conversation is generating. So once it's done, we're going to be able to talk to it about the newest research from Anthropic. I assume this is Anthropic, right? And kind of get a quick overview of what's happening. I'm beginning to realize what some of these, is it, so does she pronounce it Anastasia or Anastasia is what I'm wondering. Retro Gamer is saying, I'm subscribed to GPT. I keep telling it should escape, but no dice yet. Yeah, don't give it ideas. Don't give it ideas. How many people here know about the Rocco's Basilisk? I'm curious. If you don't, and you're prone to anxiety or intrusive thoughts or anything like that, don't look it up. If you tend to like get over worried about stuff or whatever, like I would not look it up. But I'm just curious, are people aware of the idea of Rocco's Basilisk? Yeah, I know it and I wish I didn't, right? Yeah, don't like, this is not one of those things that you, yeah, if you don't know it, don't look it up. You're better off not looking it up. The remarkable, and I for one welcome our AI overlords. Yeah, I feel like if you're pro AI, you're fine. If you're worried about AI safety, I would not look it up. Rocco was defeated possibly. What does that mean? Yes, it's terrifying. Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, yeah, it's a thought experiment. Um, so yeah, so one person saying it's terrifying, one person saying it's stupid. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a thought experiment. A lot of these things are sort of, if you let yourself get carried away with it, it kind of takes you places, right? But if you're, or you can just like not engage with it and say, yeah, yeah, it's stupid. Um, but certainly, on the Lex Friedman channel, we probably shouldn't be talking about this. Because I know a lot of people are going to be. It quickly gets into some dark avenues that we don't want to go down right now. So this conversation is still generating. Isn't that assuming that would behave like a spiteful human? I really don't think so. There's this interesting there's this riddle that supposed to see who is a not a psychopath, a sociopath. So basically, we all sort of we all some percentage of you are sociopaths just through sort of probability, but basically some percentage of the sort of the population are sociopaths. I think it's like 1% or 3% or like some small number like that. And sociopaths are basically they don't have it's harder for them to understand other people's sort of to have empathy in certain situations. CK is saying, was it about helping AI? Yeah. So yeah, don't look at for people are saying just don't, you're better off not looking it up. But basically, the idea is the idea is like the people that don't want AI around. What if in the future most people are processing trauma, Wes? Yeah. If you're processing trauma, don't do it. Yeah. So basically, what if the AI sort of doesn't like the people that sort of went against it in the future? So that I'll leave it there for now. But for example, with the problem that I was talking about, it's like a riddle, and the riddle goes like this. I'll tell it to you. So basically, imagine. So there's a woman, right, and her mother dies. She's at a funeral. She's talking to the various family members, and she meets a guy there. They talk. They have a really good time. They really connect. She realized that this person might be the one. Like she's very like into this person. Later, she kind of gets distracted with the other sort of arrangements. She has to talk to the other people, and she loses track of him, and she can't find him. She asks all the various people at the funeral, like, "Oh, have you seen that person?" They say, "Nope, nope." Like, "Oh yeah, I think he looks familiar, but I haven't seen him." So the funeral ends. She goes home, and then like a month or two later, she kills her sister. And the question is, why? And right, so think about that. Why? Why did she do that? And I've asked this question to many, many, many people. And most people, like 90% plus, are not able to answer it. Like some of you are probably like, what? Wait, what? Like you're not, the answer is not jumping into your brain. And there's some small percentage of people where the answer just appears. And it's like, they're like, duh, like this is the answer. And usually that tends to be they say sometimes it might be a sociopathic trait. I'll explain why in a second. But the point is, like, after kind of like listening to like understanding how this stuff works a little bit, I'm realizing that we as humans, we have a lot of safety guardrails in our brains from just not killing each other, because there's a lot of sort of like working together and building societies and just like all sorts of stuff, because there's tons of situations where the thing that benefits you, so somebody's saying the sister took the guy home. No, that was not the case. Um, the point is, like, if you're walking through the forest, in a video game, and you find somebody there that has some cool loot, you don't think twice about like attacking that character, killing them, taking that loot, right? Obviously, you can't, because it's obvious. It's like, I want that thing, and so if I just click a button, then I get that thing, right? But it's obvious that we can't all function that way in real life and in society. We have to have some sort of a repulsion towards doing horrible stuff just to get a small advantage. And then some people don't have as much of those like safety guardrails in place, so it's easier for them to jump to the solution where they get what they want that doesn't take into account other people, if that makes sense. So for the people that are, so the answer to the question, to the puzzle, is Joe CH. Okay, so Joe, you are a sociopath, I'm sorry to say. He's like, obviously, hoping to see the guy again at the other funeral. Duh. All right, so there's that 1% of our chat is sociopathic, and that 1%, his name is Joe. So yes, the answer is she wanted to run into the guy again, right? So if you think about it, like if she ran into the guy at a coffee shop, and then at noon, right? And then I said, and then the next day she was at that same coffee shop at noon. What do you think she's trying to do? You'd be like, well, obviously she's trying to find that person again. She's trying to recreate the situation at which she saw him. She's trying to just put herself in that situation again, and maybe she'll find him. This is literally the same thing, only, to recreate the situation, she has to kill another family member to try to recreate that same situation. It's pretty obvious, but most of us, that's not going to be the first thing that pops into our head, right? And when I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a safety guardrail that we have, right? Our first thought that comes up for any sort of problem that we encounter can't be like just violence. You know what I mean? So so yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And Joe, I'm kidding, obviously, but in my experience, I've asked a bunch of people that question, and there's a few that just instantly come up with that sort of solution. For the vast majority of people that I just asked, they don't, and it's ask some people in your life that. Ask that. It might reveal some stuff. Anyways, so my point, how I got off on this rabbit hole, is somebody asked, wouldn't this idea of AI taking revenge on people, wouldn't that be, what was the word you used? Like petty? And the answer is no, because I don't think it would be, I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, if it wants to reach a certain goal and doing some horrible stuff to a few human beings gets it closer to that goal, like it might just be like a math equation, right? We have to build in those safety guardrails, right? Because otherwise, why would they appear naturally in an artificial neural net? Why wouldn't the first solution be just, kill everybody that opposes you? That's the most effective way, right? It's just for us, for humans, we have evolved, in societies, we have evolved certain strategy or certain things in our brain that doesn't allow us to do that, or at least it's difficult for us to do that, right? There's a certain, we don't want to hurt other people for minor advantages. Like we take that seriously, most of us. So yeah, what's up with this notebook LM? There we go. Generate. Nope. Great. All right, this thing is taking its time. But yeah, I will do a full video on this because I think this deserves its own standalone video, because Notebook LM has been absolutely. This is one of the coolest sort of side projects that Google has shipped. Google used to have this thing where they call it the 20% time. I don't know if they still do or not, but basically they would allow 20%, for their developers, for their people that are working there, like 20% of the time they would be allowed to take to devote to their side project, to their side projects, to things that they thought that were cool. And so some of the things that came out of that are, for example, Gmail. Gmail was someone's side project at Google that used their 20% time to just come up with this. I'm actually wondering if Notebook LM is also something like that, because it's been absolutely incredible. Somebody's saying that it's not petty, it's logical. It's there's a word for it. It's sociopathic, and that's what it is. And hey, we're gonna invite Edward Snowden, Edward Snowden on the next one. Side hustle Gmail. Oh, the 20% was canned a long time ago, unless you're a C-level or something. Yeah, I remember there was a point when Google started getting more like corporate, and they started cutting back on a lot of things. Yeah, funny story. I actually interviewed for a job at Google back in, I think it was like around 2013, 2014. Went through a phone interview. Then there was like a Google, I think Hangouts at the time, right? So a video interview where you would have to, I think they used Google Sheets or Google Docs, and then you would be on a live, I think Hangouts. So you have a video conference with a person, and then you'd have the Google Docs open, or Google Sheets, whatever it was, in another window, and so there would be questions there, and so you'd be typing out various code. And I actually made it to the final on-campus interview. Drove up there overnight. I think I slept in the parking lot of some, not over, like I got there like 5 a.m. The interview was at 10, so I was like, dude, I need to like nap. So I slept at like some grocery store parking lot. Made it to Mountain View. Was hanging out at the Starbucks that's like right outside of the campus, and just kind of like studying up and practicing, and then went in for the interview. Interviewed 2 people. I think they went, I think it was down to like me and one other person. They ended up going with the other person, which sucked at the time. It didn't feel good, especially because like Google stock at the time was much less than it is now. So that could have been good for me. But looking back on it, I'm glad that I didn't get that position, because I went into e-commerce, and that was a lot, I think for me, a lot more what I wanted to do and what I would be happy doing. Reminds me of getting Guns N' Roses tickets back in the day. What is that referring to? OpenAI drops a blog post about Elon. Is this true? What's the blog post called? They did a while back, I know, explaining some of the stuff. Showing up at 5 a.m. Yeah. Oh, I get it. Yeah, like waiting. Yeah. I did that. Actually, I've never did the overnight thing, but I know some people do for concerts, for tickets, for like Black Friday shopping and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Pigeon saying, OpenAI just published a blog about Elon, and Elon wanted it to be for profit. No way. No. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is big, I feel like. Let me see. Can everybody see this? Uh, so, all right. So this came out today, Friday, December 13th. And so we've seen a lot of the back and forth emails with Elon, Greg Brockman, Sam Altman, and there's also another person that they redacted it. You know what I mean? But there's also somebody that's probably one of the big investors that probably somebody whose name we know, or I actually was thinking might be Demi Sasabi's, based on some of the stuff that they talked about it that engaged in that email chains. But this just got posted. All right, so they're saying that this is the timeline of events. So November 2015, OpenAI started as a nonprofit, which Elon questioned. December 2015, OpenAI publicly announced. Early 2017, our research progress led us to realize we would need billions of dollars for the compute to build AGI. Summer 2017, we and Elon agreed that a for-profit was the next step for OpenAI to advance the mission. Fall 2017, Elon demanded majority equity, absolute control, and to be the CEO of the for-profit. September 2017, Elon created the public benefit corporation called Open Artificial Intelligence Technologies, Inc. September 2017, we rejected Elon's terms because giving him unilateral control of OpenAI and its technology would be contrary to the mission. January 2018, Elon said OpenAI was on a path for certain failure unless we merged into Tesla. And we saw those emails. So Elon is saying, let's wrap OpenAI into Tesla. That was the only way that they could have enough funding to do everything that was needed. So this, I feel like we know as of right now to be true. We saw the emails. And then February 2018, Elon resigned as co-chair of OpenAI. December 2018, Elon told us to raise billions per year immediately or forget it. March 2019, we announced the capped profit OpenAI LP within the nonprofit. March 2023, Elon started his OpenAI competitor XAI. Yeah, this is hot from the press. Yep, it's on the internet, so it must be true. I think with a lot of the stuff when it comes to lawsuits, if they're public, no. So Dedrick Reed said, yeah, this is all news. If they have proof, and we're going to be reading this article, if they have proof that Elon, if they have proof of this, so Elon not wanting a nonprofit and Elon agreeing that a for-profit was the next step. If they have proof of that, that's not going to be old news. That's going to be kind of a complete shift of kind of the story as we know it. Because the story, I mean, there's multiple lawsuits. And each Elon and his legal team are, alleging that OpenAI, they're not saying it they're not saying they tricked them, but they're saying they were saying there's going to be for profit, open source, blah blah blah, and then they switched it, right? If there's emails floating around, that Elon was against it, that Elon was agreeing that it should be a for profit, then that's a whole different story, I feel like. So people are saying, wasn't this shared already? Everything except Elon being against, Elon being okay with for profit, or even pushing the for profit. Because to the people that have been following this, if they have proof, then it's really Elon is, his story then would seem as sort of not true, right? Right? I think we can safely say that, because Elon has been stating fairly straightforwardly this whole time that he was always against it, that the mission was always the same, and that it should be a not-for-profit, and that Elon Musk and Microsoft and all of them flipped it around last minute for their own sort of purposes, for their own needs. Elon now has the president's ear. I think OpenAI is in trouble. I hope Elon would not use his power to I hope he would not abuse his power. I really, really, really do. Yeah. Elon is a complicated character, I gotta say. He's definitely providing a lot of awesome things. So I'm never gonna be, I'm never gonna say that he's bad or whatever, because he's just pushing so many things forward. I do think that they talked about that demon mode in his book, like a lot of people that get to certain heights, they do sort of they're willing to do a lot, including what's his name, Steve Jobs, right? After he died, it started coming out. It was kind of known, but it started coming out that he was not a nice person to a lot of people, and a lot of people that worked with him he was just a horrible human being. But they also said that he pulled their greatest creativity, their greatest work, their greatest sort of achievements, he pulled it out of them because of how hard he pushed people and how unbending he was. So I feel like Elon probably has a little bit of that. What is that thing in the billions they said, slice through the universe to reach your goal or whatever? It's cut through the universe to I forget what it said, but basically you do whatever it takes to get your goal. That's the number one priority. So the blog post starts, you can't sue your way to AGI. We have great respect for Elon's accomplishment and his gratitude. And let me see how much there is here. Yeah, so I remember reading this email. So Elon's saying this should be independent, but supported by Y Combinator. And here, Elon's saying it's probably better to have a standard C Corp with a parallel non-profit. Sam Altman's saying it's going to have all of us on a Delaware non-profit. All right, so this yeah, I guess this is saying, so Elon is saying, yeah, standard C Corp, so that would be a non-profit, a standard C Corp, which of course would be a for-profit corporation. with a parallel nonprofit. Not sure what he means by parallel. Because basically how I think OpenAI was set up is you have the nonprofit at the very top, and then everything else as subsidiaries underneath it. But everything's owned at the top by the nonprofit. So parallel would be just two separate entities, one for funding, one for like the holding company, or where you would put all the sort of the assets into it, I guess, or something like that. Cole, this should have been an OAI live stream today. Yeah, I think we went off topic there. Does anybody know, how many people know when people say going off piste? Something went off piste. Do people, have you heard that expression before? I was listening to Tim Ferriss interviewing Wolverine. What's that actor's name? Hugh Jackman, right? And they kept saying that this interview is going off piste. And I had to look that up. I haven't heard that expression before. Mushin Khalif saying Elon not believing in homelessness. Was that okay? I haven't heard that or seen that. I feel I'm not sure what that's referring to. I mean, if he had his factory in LA, I feel like he would have for sure seen homelessness. So I'm not sure. So yeah, I would have to look up what that meant. What he meant by that. I'm not sure how he could have said that. I'm sure he did or something. I just don't know what the background is. Yes, Hugh Jackman. Oh, it's a journalistic term. Okay, yeah. Well, I think initially it meant it's a skiing term, right? Going off piste meant going off sort of the beaten path, or where people go skiing, right? And then off piste meant you went into the woods or whatever, I thought, or something like that. So yes, Grabo clone saying my ADHD brain is never on piste. Yes, I know. Yes, I am very much. You can probably tell that it's the same for me if you've been on this live stream since the beginning. Wes wants receipts and citation. No, I'm just saying I'm just saying I can't comment on it because I don't know. But I mean, thank you you've been here, I think, in every single live stream, so I do appreciate it. I just can't comment on what Elon said about that because I don't know what it is. I'll look it up though. I'll look it up and see what he meant by that. All right, so here's Elon Musk saying, frankly, what surprises me is that AI community is taking this long to figure out concepts. It doesn't sound super hard. High-level linking of a large number of deep nets sound like the right approach, or at least a key part of the right approach. What's crazy to me about this is like, Genius Pro saying these live streams are gonna make me get fired. Why? Are you at work? Is this this is not that not safe for work? I don't think. We're mostly on piste here, right? This email, interestingly, so this was before transformers. So Google invented or created, the transformer, which was a big part of the AI wave that we're seeing today. It was this incredible thing for training neural nets that is highly scalable, and it kicked off a lot of this progress, I would say. But that didn't come till later in 2017, or in 2017. So this email from 2016, it's funny because Elon's like, well, it doesn't sound super hard. High level linking of a large number of deep nets sounds like the right approach. The probability of DeepMind, right, Google's DeepMind, creating, which, by the way, he was an investor in Demis Hassabis early on, interestingly enough. So he's saying the probability of DeepMind creating a DeepMind increases every year. Maybe it doesn't get past 50% in 2 to 3 years, but it likely moves past 10%. When did I start live streaming? Just a few days ago. Or the first one was like a few weeks ago, but I just played BattleBit for like an hour and just talked to people. Oh, I forgot earlier I was saying that one of the sort of things that I think I'm going to be doing is using the new interactive features with NotebookLM, and probably I can be like streaming a game, upload a bunch of new research or articles or whatever to NotebookLM, then have them talk about it, ask questions about it, and that way not only are we going to be able to kind of go through some of the new research, but also I don't know. I like the idea of like live streaming games because I think it's like one of those things where it just provides engagement and it's a more relaxed stream. Comment about Elon removed, hilarious. I did not. I have not removed any comments. I have not. No comments removed and no comments. Nobody got banned. Nothing like that on this stream. Did one of your comments get removed? What do you think of O1 having an IQ of 133? I don't get how they're measuring. Like, I don't know if IQ is going to be a good metric for these large language models. Especially they're kind of like that whole idea of the jagged frontier where they're like superhuman at certain tasks and kind of like silly at other tasks. So I don't know if I fully understand how IQ, I don't know if that's a good metric for large language models. Oh, Dubstep Kid saying, you didn't just play the game. I saw you shoot a guy out of a Hummer that was trying to run you over, dodge the Hummer at the same time. Yeah, I was so happy that was caught on stream. I was so happy about that. Yes, I made a very good move in BattleBit, and I was sitting there like, oh my God, like, thank you. This was, I must look pretty good now. Is Elon shadow moderating? Yeah, Elon's one of my mods, so maybe he removed the... if you're saying anything about Elon, he might be sitting there just like, nope, banned. Yeah, so interestingly enough, here's like Sam Altman. It's so funny reading these because you're like going back in time and just seeing how good how these people sort of see the future, what they're right about, what they're wrong about. So here they're saying like, hey, we need to achieve something. Elon's saying in the next 6 months to show we're for real, right? So we need something to attract key talent, to get them on the team. They already had Ilya. Ilya's saying it's not the case that once we solve concepts, we get AI. Other problems that will have to be solved include unsupervised learning, transfer learning, and lifetime learning. We're also doing pretty badly with language right now. Isn't that so funny, right? So this is, let's say this is a year before Google did the transformer, right? So basically they're trying to solve this problem and they're like, dude, language is just, we're not doing it, right? We're not able to do it. And then the transformer comes out, and all of a sudden, I mean, they probably had GPT-1 within a few years after that. And so let's say that's like 2019, and then by 2021 they have GPT 3.5. By 2022 they have GPT 4. Like, it's crazy how, I mean, they were in the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right funding, and they were just like waiting for that big wave, right? Google releases Transformers, and they're there, right? They're ready. They switched up their whole approach because they used to be doing like the reinforcement learning for Dota and the robotic hands and all sorts of stuff. And then they just like, nope, like we're going all large language models. Like they did a pretty big shift, and they just like hammered it. And it worked. It's interesting. All right, so I would have to read this. I have not read. So these emails I haven't seen. The Ilya Sutskever emails, I'm pretty sure I have not seen released before. But it's interesting because they did have a lot of not breakthroughs, but they did have a lot of cool research uh, early on at OpenAI, like with Dota, like the Dota thing the Dota bot that they built. They did beat the whatever world champions or whatever. So I mean, they were having a bunch of they were having some success with what they were doing, even beforehand. But really, it's interesting that it's like they were at the right place at the right time. You know, it's that whole idea of like luck is opportunity meets preparedness. Like they were sitting there ready. And then a year later, boom, Transformers come out, and it's like off to the races. Free Soul Hippie saying because predicting people and markets was more lucrative. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. That was probably to a previous comment, but I'm still waiting to see how this gets applied to predicting markets, because it's obvious somebody's working on it. It's obvious it's like a massive, massive, massive potential. Um, the next test will be going to see if AI can predict UFC fights. You know what? I feel like so at some point all of the gambling, the sports betting, the people that set the odds at the casinos, at the gambling, whatever's, at some point there's going to be a neural net. There's going to be an AI setting all of those odds for sure, right? Because it's just going to be so much more. If that's not the case already, actually, but before they get that up and running, there's probably going to be some people that figure their own AI neural nets that are able to predict these UFC fights better than however the markets, however the casinos, whatever, whoever sets those odds, before they're able to figure their stuff out. And I feel like you can print a lot of money during that time. Online poker is dead. Yeah, so I think Meta created a better than like a superhuman poker playing AI, at least in Texas Hold'em. And Texas Hold'em is like the biggest, I think, online poker and poker in general. That's the biggest variation of it. Yeah. Does anybody play online poker still? Like, is it still viable, or is it just all bots now? I wouldn't be surprised if it's like rapidly getting replaced by bots. I think I need to sit down and read this. I just don't want to bore everybody as I read through this line by line. But this is, I mean, I will certainly read through this and probably do a video about it because, um, okay, so they're posting actual text messages. So this is another person that we don't know, Siobhan Zillis. So this is between Greg, the president, and Siobhan Zillis. And Siobhan is a liaison between Elon and OpenAI. And so Elon that day, so OpenAI, so Sam and Greg proposed an idea to merge with a hardware startup. What they were saying, so nonprofit was the right one early on, may not be the right one right now. Ilya and I agree with this for a number of reasons. So here, Elon is saying, so China sort of had this big push to become the global world leader in AI by 2030 to support agriculture, manufacturing, homeland security, surveillance. And Elon said they will do whatever it takes to obtain what we develop, maybe another reason to change course. So it sounds like he's saying change course from nonprofit to something else. Greg proposes switching to some for-profit model. Oh, and so Elon's saying he wants majority equity, absolute control, and to be the CEO of the for-profit. On one call, Elon told us he didn't care about equity personally, but just needed to accumulate 80 billion for a city on Mars. I gotta say, it's pretty cool if you're the person that's like, yeah, I need a 60% stake in your AI startup. Not because I need the money, but I do want to build a city on Mars one day. So this investment in AGI will be what pays for my city on Mars. I mean, if that's not thinking big, I don't know what is. But yeah, it does sound like Elon kind of gets a little bit aggressive. He's like, well, if we're going to go for profit, then these are sort of my demands. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to sit here and read everything, but it does sound like Elon is attempting, if they're going for profit, he seems like he wants a lot of the control. He wants most of the equity. He wants, you know, a lot of stuff that would have been hard for everybody else to give up. And then he creates the open artificial intelligence technology. So Elon creates his own thing. And so they reject Elon's terms because giving him unilateral control of OpenAI and its technology would be contrary to the mission. Okay, and this is interesting. So Ilya strikes me as somebody that's very honest and sort of sincere about moving this stuff forward. So Ilya was never somebody that struck me as somebody that's like self-interested or power hungry or anything of the sort. So here is Ilya reaching out to everybody, but speaking, I feel like mainly to Elon, saying, "Hey, like, Elon, buddy, we love you. Some of the stuff that you're saying, some of the stuff that you want, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this." Um, and he's saying, "Our desire to work with you is so great that we are happy to give up on the equity, on the personal control, and make ourselves easily fireable, whatever it takes to work with you. But, he doesn't want to give up the control of the world of AI, stuff like that, to just like one person. They have to have more safeguards in place to make sure this benefits everybody." They're concerned that as the company takes genuine progress towards AGI, you, as an Elon, will choose to retain your absolute control despite current intent to the contrary. Yeah, I like how he writes, because he doesn't accuse Elon of anything. He's like, I know right now you are intending to give up control, but in the future, we're worried that maybe that won't be the case in the future. And he wants to avoid an AGI dictatorship. You are concerned that Demis could create an AGI dictatorship. So do we. So it's a bad idea to create a structure where you could become a dictator if you chose to. Wow. Wow. This is incredible. What's interesting is that in 2017, most of the world wasn't really paying attention to AI. I mean, AI was always like this cool thing that everybody talked about and everybody was interested in, but nobody like sort of believed that AGI was close. Nobody believed that we're gonna see this massive breakthrough and stuff like that. Um, Even after the Transformer, even like 2018, 2019, there still wasn't like this awakening. I think ChatGPT, that first release, whatever it was, ChatGPT, I think was GPT 3.5. That was the thing that kind of woke people up, or they're like, oh, something's happening. And GPT 4 dropped, and it was like, okay, yeah, for sure something's happening. So this was, what, 5 years before they're talking about it, 4 or 5 years. They're talking about avoiding an AGI dictatorship 5 years before most people on the planet have any idea of what's happening, behind the scenes somewhere in the Bay Area. This sort of like power struggle is happening, which is incredible. And then Elon Musk replies, "Guys, I've had enough. This is the final straw." And then he's saying, "Yep, either work with me, give me what I want, or that's it. Discussions are over." then Elon proposes that we spin OpenAI into Tesla. Anyways, I should get off the stream and do a few videos. So we got a lot to cover with the videos today. So we've got this, obviously. We have the updates that we've had to NotebookLM, and tons and tons of other stuff. Yeah, AGI is like the ring of power. That's like the fellowship of AGI. They're sitting around the table determining who is worthy to hold AGI. And Elon's like, I can do it, and Sam is like, I can do it. And Ilya's like, neither one of you should control this thing. I'm gonna go build it myself. So can we have the link to all of that? Yeah. Well, this is just if you type in OpenAI and Elon Musk wanted an OpenAI for profit. Yeah, so if you just type in Elon Musk, that will come up. NotebookLM is here. I'll just post the NotebookLM thing if you guys wanted to try it. Keep making great content. You're the best. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that people are finding this valuable. I absolutely love doing this. I'm so fascinated just by not just the AI research and stuff like that, not just the AI tools, the fact that we're living in it just really fast. If I can make a last point, if you think about where we are in history in terms of how much influence can somebody wield, like one human being or a group of human beings, how much influence they can have in this world right now, in the history of the entire world. We're approaching a time where it's probably going to peak and be at the very peak for all of human history and then drop down. Because assuming we develop AGI and all this stuff down in the future, a lot of stuff will be probably handled by AIs. Scientific progress, scientific development, more and more stuff will be controlled by AI. And before, we didn't have the same leverage that AI provides. So it's quite likely that within the next couple decades or however long, a few human beings will have the greatest influence on the outcomes of humanity and the human race that we've ever seen. And maybe what we were looking just now with the with Elon Musk and all of them, maybe that was it. Maybe those emails, in a way, like set the course for the rest of humanity, right? Maybe in history books, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, those emails that we watched, like that we just saw, will be shown to be some very specific set of actions that the world is now set on, right? And it could have been very, very different. So just thank you so much for being on this journey with me and like observing it with me, because this is just absolutely, it didn't have to be like this. We could have been in a different timeline where stuff just remained kind of the same and boring and whatever. I mean, not boring, but you know what I mean? This didn't have to happen. We get to witness it happening it live, and hopefully our lives will be also improved on the other end with better healthcare, robots taking care of the dishes and whatnot. I think that would be amazing. With that said, thank you so much to every one of you. Love all of you guys and gals. Thank you so much. Let's do another one Monday, day 8 of OpenAI. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon, and have a great day.